What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 13:46 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe. So, the Russian Defense Ministry confirmed today that Russia has started the first phase of tactical nuclear weapons drills with Belarus. And this could be why yesterday we had that flurry of nuclear attack options being broadcasted yesterday evening and late last night. And today we have U.S. nuclear forces still on high alert. What you're looking at here is a live flight tracker, and we have two nuclear bombers flying over the southern United States. We also have two nuclear war command and control planes in the air, and we also have this aerial refueler that was out in the Atlantic, and it was actually communicating with nuclear war communications relay stations, and that is extremely unusual. I was actually listening to this plane calling into nuclear war communications relay stations, and it was using the high frequency system used by our bombers and our nuclear war command and control planes. So this is very interesting. It was out here off the Hudson Canyon in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New Jersey. And here we have a B-52 nuclear bomber looping over Louisiana. We also have a nuclear war command and control plane looping with it. Okay, this is extremely unusual. We also have another B-52 up over the Ozarks right now. It actually just turned its transponder off right over Harrison and Compton, Arkansas, and it actually got aerially refueled by this plane right here, Oki 21. So our nuclear forces are definitely on high alert. Two nuclear bombers airborne right now. One turned its transponder off, one looping over Louisiana for the last 3 hours. And then we have these nuclear war command and control planes. We have one over Oklahoma right now. And then we have the one down here looping with the nuclear bombers. So something is spooking our nuclear forces, and I think it has something to do with these tactical nuclear weapons drills. Now, we haven't heard any updates about the Russian missile tests off the coast of California and in the Barents Sea. That's been swept under the rug really quickly by the military. So I believe that they're still doing those tests right now. It's just that our military is keeping quiet about it because they don't want people to panic. If you remember when I first broke the story and when multiple people on social media were talking about this, the military the next day canceled the NOTAM for the Russian missile tests, and they made up a story saying that it was rocket boosters from a Soyuz rocket that Russia was sending into space that were actually going to crash down in the Pacific off the coast of California and not missile tests. But that's a lie for various reasons. Number one, because they had the NOTAM up for a 10-day period through the 26th, and it was only for 3 hours every evening. Okay, if a rocket booster is going to come crashing down from space, why would they have those specific 3-hour windows every day from 2000 hours to 2300 hours? That doesn't make any sense, okay? And also, it's very difficult to know ahead of time exactly where those rocket boosters are going to land. So, very suspicious. And now Russia's doing tactical nuclear weapons drills. Remember, guys, anytime Russia says they're doing an exercise, it means it's actually a deployment. Okay, this is exactly what Russia did before they invaded Ukraine. They did two so-called exercises. They did one a year before they invaded Ukraine. Some of you guys may remember that. I covered it live. It was around April of 2020, right after Biden got inaugurated. Putin moved 150,000 troops to the border of Ukraine, and he said it was just an exercise. And then, like a year later, he did the same thing, and then he ended up invading. Okay, so this is extremely concerning, guys. We could see Russia and Belarus potentially use their nuclear weapons against Ukraine, against the Baltic countries, potentially even against Poland. And there is a Christian pastor by the name of Philip Barnett, Pastor Barnett, who said that God showed him a future in which Ukraine was going to get attacked by Russia and then nuked by Russia. And he said this in the Azov Manna prophecy. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, but this is definitely not a good sign. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And we had some unusual radio traffic from Cuban spy stations last night after the EAMs, or nuclear attack options, subsided. And what was interesting about them is that they were broadcasting outside of their normal scheduled hours. They actually have like a schedule that they follow when they broadcast these messages to Cuban spies, Russian spies, Iranian spies, Chinese spies, and sleeper cells as well. So looks like Russia, China, Iran, maybe they've activated sleeper cells and spies inside of our country. Now, also last night, we had an over-the-horizon radar that was turned on in Russia, and I don't know if that's related to these tactical nuclear weapons drills or if something is about to go down, but there was an over-the-horizon radar, a very powerful one, turned on in Western Russia. Now, an over-the-horizon radar is used to detect ballistic missiles that are launched from long distances. It's a very powerful radar that can basically go over the horizon, okay? It can detect missiles from thousands of miles away, and Russia had that thing wide open last night, and that could be why it was difficult to pick up some of the nuclear attack options because of the interference from that over-the-horizon radar. But let me play this Cuban spy message here from last night. 03553. So that's basically it. They say alphanumeric messages in Spanish, and then there's like these weird noises, which are data transmissions. So that's the actual data transmission, and the spies or sleeper cells can listen to that, and they have a special decoder that they can use to decode that, and it's a message. It's like an encrypted message. So it's kind of annoying. And we also had a NATO encrypted message go out last night right after the EAM subsided. Here's a clip of that. So that's just an encrypted message sent out by NATO. And we had a lot of reconnaissance activity last night over the Baltics. Here we have an Italian AWACS plane that was flying over Latvia. This thing has been up in the air basically every night for the last week or so, patrolling the Baltics. And then we also had a German Air Force heavy cargo plane fly to Kaunas, which is a big city in Lithuania. Now, Kaunas is where the main NATO base is located in Lithuania. That's the largest NATO base in Lithuania. And looks like Germany is moving some heavy equipment into Kaunas, maybe Patriot missile systems for air defense, maybe tanks, who knows, okay? But Belarus has massed forces on the border of Lithuania, and the Baltic countries already started digging anti-tank trenches and bunkers along their borders with Russia and Belarus a few months ago. Now, Poland said a few days ago, the Prime Minister of Poland said that Poland is going to spend the equivalent of $2.5 billion on a border fortification that will make it impossible for enemies to cross into Poland with tanks. Okay, so they're going to probably lay minefields potentially. They're going to dig anti-tank trenches. Who knows? Okay, but $2.5 billion is a lot. So that's a very serious fortification. We also had a Swedish reconnaissance plane patrolling the Gotland Island. Now, the Gotland Island is a very vulnerable island owned by Sweden, and a lot of NATO war planners believe that Russia wants to take that island and set up missiles there, and that would deny NATO use of the Baltic Sea. And we also had 2 U.S. Army VIP planes go up to Estonia last night. Okay. It's usually a bad sign when you see these planes going somewhere, Duke 76 and Duke 96. Anytime you see the call sign Duke, it's a small Cessna plane for U.S. Army generals, and something is going on in the Baltics for them to fly to Estonia in the middle of the night. And then also we had this Polish reconnaissance plane looping for hours over Vilnius, just a few miles from the border of Lithuania. So something is brewing over there in the Baltics. I do believe that Russia is going to try to make a land bridge to Kaliningrad because Putin sees Kaliningrad the same way he sees Crimea, a part of Russia. And Kaliningrad is an economic hub, and right now it's geographically isolated, so he wants to make that land corridor to Kaliningrad through Lithuania, okay? And Ukraine killed some high-level Russian military officers with French Scalp missiles, so Russia's not going to be happy about that. And the UN Security Council did not adopt the Russian draft resolution on non-deployment of nuclear weapons into space. Russia accused America of trying to put nuclear weapons into space. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Lithuania said that there's no reason for the Republic of Lithuania to send condolences to Iran while Iranian UAVs are raining down in Ukraine. And he's talking about the president of Iran being killed in the helicopter crash, and also the Iranian foreign minister. They're going to have a funeral tomorrow. Putin is actually going to be attending that funeral tomorrow, but we already have some indications that Iran is going to try to blame Israel for that crash. We had Sabrine News, which is affiliated with the Iranian government, say yesterday that there was some kind of an explosion before the helicopter went down. Okay, so don't be surprised if after the funeral, Iran is going to start blaming Israel and America for this. And Poland foiled a Russian sabotage ring with 9 potential saboteurs getting arrested. The Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said the case is very serious. According to him, in addition to Poland, several European countries were the target of this sabotage ring, including Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Sweden. Okay, so Poland arresting 9 suspects that were working with Russian intelligence, and they were going to carry out sabotage activities. Now, a couple weeks back on the culinary night, we had breaking news come out that there were some Russian saboteurs arrested in Germany that were planning to blow up U.S. military bases and warehouses in Germany. Okay. That was swept under the rug by the mainstream media. I mean, we didn't hear anything about that after that happened. And the German foreign minister arrived in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and she said that Germany has raised almost 1 billion euros to strengthen Ukraine's air defense. She also emphasized that Germany was literally looking under every rock for new Patriot missiles and was working to hand them over to Ukraine. And the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, reiterated the White House's unwillingness to approve Ukraine's use of American weapons in strikes against military targets in Russia following a meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group on May the 20th. Yesterday, Ukrainian forces conducted a trio of successful attacks in the Russian-occupied rear area, successfully targeting a Russian base outside of Luhansk, an ammunition fuel dump in Dovzhansk, and a third unknown target in Mariupol. So the Ukrainians are taking the fight to the Russians, and Tucker Carlson has started hosting a TV show on a Russian TV channel, on the Russia 24 TV channel. Very interesting. And Moldova became the first country to sign a security agreement with the European Union. This is coming from Joseph Borrell, the EU's top diplomat. He said this partnership will enhance the country's resilience. Now, about a week ago, the U.S. Army moved a C-17 to Moldova. So probably a bunch of equipment, maybe javelins, going to Moldova in case of a Russian attack on Moldova. And Biden said that the U.S. does not consider what is happening in Gaza to be genocide and rejected the International Criminal Court prosecutors' accusations against Israeli leaders. Very interesting. And Reuters reports that 3 of Donald Trump's foreign policy advisors met with Netanyahu earlier this week. So very interesting. Trump met with the Polish president personally like 3 weeks ago. And now he sent some advisors of his to meet with Netanyahu. And the U.S. is going to offer the Republic of Georgia support in exchange for changing its anti-Western stance and abandoning its anti-democratic course, according to Politico. Republican Joe Wilson's bill is quoted as saying, the proposal discusses the possibility of visa liberalization for Georgians, as well as economic and military aid, provided that Georgia makes significant progress in strengthening democracy. The same bill provides for the imposition of sanctions against Georgian politicians associated with the adoption of the Foreign Agents Law. That's the law that they just tried to pass, and the president of Georgia vetoed. And North Korean President Kim Jong-un has expressed his deep condolences to the government and people of Iran and described the president of Iran as an outstanding statesman. I want to just show you guys the latest situation in Kharkiv Oblast in Ukraine. So the Russians are continuing to advance in Ukraine. So what you're looking at here are the extent of the Russian positions in the northern part of the Kharkiv Oblast. Here's the city, Kharkiv, and this is the second largest city in Ukraine, and the Russians are literally 15 miles away, and they have gained some more ground here. So let me just go back in time. We'll go back to yesterday, and now today. Yesterday and today, you can see this whole area here just filling in, okay? So actually, this is not today. This is actually yesterday, and then this would be 2 days ago because they haven't updated this map yet. So the Russians are continuing to make advances, and I want to show you guys the situation in the northern part of the Kharkiv Oblast. The Russians are continuing with their scorched earth policy, just completely leveling all these towns and cities in their path. Here's the town of Vovchansk. You can see the whole town is just on fire. You can see all these apartment blocks here getting shelled with artillery, just indiscriminate shelling, just rubbling entire buildings for absolutely no reason other than to terrorize the people here, get them to leave, and then they come in and they occupy the ruins. That's their main military strategy. Here's another scene from Vovchansk. Okay, you can see these houses just completely leveled. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on tonight with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below so you get notified when I post these updates. Also, check out my Telegram and my Twitter. I post all these updates to Twitter and Telegram. So if you're subscribed to one of those, you'll never miss an update. I also sometimes post extras there. And my Twitter and Telegram are in the description below this video. And until later on, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. Culinary out.